What if I told you your happiness might depend more on your gut bacteria than your thoughts? Not your mindset, not your motivation, not even your circumstances, but the trillions of microscopic organisms living inside your body. I know, that sounds wild, maybe even a little gross, but stay with me because what I'm about to share completely changed the way I think about mental health, mood, and what it actually means to feel better. Because most of us were taught that if we're anxious, it's a mental problem. If we're low, it's a thinking problem. If we're emotionally unstable, it's a willpower problem. But what if that's only half the story? What if the other half is happening inside your gut right now and nobody told you? Almost 90% of your serotonin, your feel-good neurotransmitter, is produced in your gut, not your brain, your gut. So what if your mood isn't just psychological? What if it's biological? Today, we're going deep into the gut-brain connection, what it is, why it matters, and why it's especially important for women. And if you've ever struggled with anxiety, low mood, PMS mood swings, burnout, emotional flatness, or that feeling where you just can't shake the heaviness no matter how hard you try, this might connect some dots for you. Let's get into it. 1. The gut-brain axis. Okay, so first, what exactly is the gut-brain connection? There's a system in your body called the gut-brain axis, and it is exactly what it sounds like, a two-way communication highway between your digestive system and your brain. Your gut and your brain are in constant conversation. They talk through the vagus nerve, which is one of the longest nerves in your body, running from your brainstem all the way down to your gut, hormones circulating through your blood, immune signals, and neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that regulate your mood, focus, and emotional state. Now, here's what blows people's minds when they first hear this. Your gut isn't just digesting food. It is producing chemicals that influence your mood, your stress response, your anxiety levels, your quality of sleep, your motivation and drive, even your ability to handle difficult emotions. Your gut has been described as your second brain, and for good reason. It contains over 500 million neurons. It operates largely independently of your brain, and it is constantly sending signals upward that shape how you feel, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Inside your gut live trillions of bacteria, collectively called your microbiome. And here's the important part. These bacteria are not just passive passengers along for the ride. They are active, working members of your mental health team. When your microbiome is diverse and balanced, it does incredible things for your body and brain. When it's out of balance, things can start to unravel in ways you might never connect back to your gut. 2. Serotonin and the mood chemistry most people don't know about. Let's talk serotonin because this surprises most people. Serotonin is the happy chemical. It supports calm, well-being, and emotional balance. Many think it's made in the brain. Some is, but about 90% is produced in your gut. It doesn't cross directly into the brain, but it still matters. Gut serotonin supports digestion, signals through the vagus nerve, and influences inflammation. And inflammation has been strongly linked to depression and anxiety. Healthy gut bacteria help reduce inflammation, protect the gut lining, support dopamine and GABA, regulate cortisol. When bacteria are imbalanced, called dysbiosis, it can cause higher inflammation, neurotransmitter disruption, elevated stress hormones, and mood changes. Mental health isn't always just in your head. Sometimes it begins in your gut. 3. Psychobiotics, the controversial term you need to know. A term you may not know, psychobiotics. Coined by Ted Dinan and John Cryan, it refers to specific probiotic strains that may support mental health when taken in adequate amounts. This is real, ongoing scientific research. Studied strains include Lactobacillus rhamnosus, linked to anxiety and stress response; Bifidobacterium longum, studied for mood and cognition; Lactobacillus helveticus, researched for anxiety reduction. To be clear, psychobiotics are not a replacement for therapy or medication, but this research shows something important. Mental health isn't just psychological. Your gut and brain communicate daily, and that connection may influence how you feel. 4. Why women are especially affected. Now let's talk about women, because this gets personal. Women's emotional well-being is tied to constantly shifting hormones: estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, thyroid, blood sugar. These don't just affect your cycle, they affect your brain, mood, energy, and stress response. Here's what most people miss. Your gut microbiome directly influences your hormones. There's even a group of gut bacteria called the estrobiome, microbes that help regulate estrogen. When it's balanced, estrogen is processed properly. When it's not, estrogen levels can fluctuate or become excessive or deficient. That can show up as intense PMS, anxiety before your period, mid-cycle mood crashes, low mood without a clear reason, poor stress tolerance. For years, women have been told it's just hormones, but this isn't weakness, it's biochemistry, and biochemistry can be supported. 5. Foods that contain beneficial bacteria. So, what does it actually look like to support your gut for better mood? Let's start with food, because this is the most accessible starting point. When we talk about eating bacteria, we're talking about fermented foods. These are foods that have gone through a fermentation process where natural bacteria break down sugars, and in doing so, they create living cultures of beneficial microorganisms. The most common and accessible fermented foods include yogurt, but look for live active cultures on the label. Not all yogurt contains them. Kefir, a fermented milk drink that is actually higher in probiotic strains than most yogurts, and many people who are lactose intolerant can tolerate it. Sauerkraut, fermented cabbage, buy it refrigerated, not shelf-stable, to ensure the cultures are still alive. Kimchi, a spicy fermented Korean condiment that is rich in beneficial bacteria and also contains gut-supporting vegetables. Kombucha, a fermented tea drink, be mindful of sugar content in commercial versions. Miso, a fermented soybean paste used in Japanese cooking, great in soups and dressings. Tempeh, fermented soybeans in a dense, protein-rich form, excellent meat substitute. These foods introduce beneficial microorganisms into your gut environment. But here's something really important that people often miss. Probiotics, the beneficial bacteria, work best when they are paired with prebiotics. Prebiotics are types of fiber that feed and nourish the good bacteria already living in your gut. Think of probiotics as planting seeds, and prebiotics as watering and fertilizing the soil. You need both. Prebiotic-rich foods include garlic and onions, asparagus, oats, bananas, especially slightly underripe ones, beans and lentils, flax seeds and chia seeds, apples, and leeks. The goal isn't just to add bacteria, it's to create an internal environment where beneficial bacteria can thrive, reproduce, and do their job of supporting your brain and mood chemistry. 6. What disrupts your microbiome? Now let's talk about what works against you. Everyday habits can damage your gut microbiome. Chronic stress is a major one. Elevated cortisol reduces beneficial bacteria and lowers diversity. Stress harms the gut, and a disrupted gut makes stress harder to regulate. High sugar diets feed harmful bacteria. Low fiber intake starves the good bacteria that support your brain. Poor sleep, even a few nights, can disrupt your microbiome, and an unhealthy gut can disrupt sleep, another cycle. Frequent antibiotic use can wipe out both harmful and beneficial bacteria if not followed by proper restoration. Ultra-processed foods are linked to lower microbial diversity. Excess alcohol damages the gut lining and beneficial strains. If you're burnout, anxious, underslept, and living on convenience food, your gut may be struggling, and your mood may be reflecting it. 7. Realistic expectations plus the bigger picture. I want to be real with you. Kimchi won't cure depression overnight. Kefir won't erase anxiety. Mental health is complex. It involves therapy, sleep, movement, relationships, trauma, hormones, and sometimes medication. The gut isn't the whole story, but it's an often overlooked part of it. Supporting your gut can provide a stronger biological foundation, lower inflammation, more stable mood chemistry, better stress resilience. If you've been blaming yourself for your mood, thinking you just need to try harder or be more positive, consider this. Your body may be asking for support. Happiness isn't just mindset, it's biology too. And you deserve to understand both. So, to wrap this up, your gut and your brain are in constant two-way communication. Almost 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut. Your gut bacteria influence inflammation, hormones, stress response, and neurotransmitter production. Women are particularly vulnerable to gut mood disruption due to the relationship between the microbiome and estrogen metabolism. Fermented foods, prebiotic fiber, quality sleep, stress reduction, and avoiding gut-disrupting habits can all support a healthier microbiome and, potentially, a more stable mood. And a new area of research called Psychobiotics is actively exploring specific probiotic strains that may benefit mental health. This is not about replacing your mental health care. It's about adding a layer that most people don't even know exists. If this resonated with you, if something clicked, drop gut in the comments below. I genuinely love reading those and knowing this content is connecting with you. And if you want more content that connects the dots between biology, hormones, and how you actually feel day to day, make sure you're subscribed. Because your body is not random. It's communicating with you constantly, and you deserve to understand what it's saying. See you in the next one.